The Night They Chose. Greenwich, Connecticut, July 12, 2019. The string quartet was playing something that cost more per hour than most people make in a week. White jackets, black bow ties, the whole Hamptons wannabe package my mother booked every summer to remind the neighbors we still belonged at the top of the food chain. The estate sat right on Long Island Sound, all glass and cedar and calculated views, the kind of house that photographs perfectly for Architectural Digest, but never quite feels like anyone lives in it. 80 guests in linen and Rolexes drifted across the terrace like they were extras in someone else's fantasy. I stood near the raw bar, picking at a shrimp the size of my thumb, wearing the same navy cocktail dress I'd had since junior year of high school because Mom said, "It still fits, no need to waste money." Translation, Lauren got 6 figures for her birthday. I got told to recycle. Lauren, of course, looked like she'd been born inside a Vogue spread. 21 today, sun-bleached hair in loose waves, white silk dress that probably cost more than the quartet. She glowed under the Edison bulbs while Dad clinked his glass with a silver spoon that had belonged to some great-grandfather who'd made the family fortune in railroads and never looked back. "Everybody, quiet down for a second," Dad called, voice carrying the way only old money and bourbon can make it carry. The crowd hushed like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this moment. "We have a little announcement." Mom stepped forward in her cream Carolina Herrera, pearls tied at her throat, smiling the smile she'd perfected at charity galas. She rested one manicured hand on Lauren's shoulder like she was unveiling a sculpture. "As you all know," she began, "Lauren has been interning with the marketing team at LVMH this summer. And the board was so impressed, they've invited her to their exclusive luxury brand immersion program in Monaco and Paris. 3 months mentored by the best in the business." She paused for the gasps. There were plenty. Tuition, housing, private styling, the works, $100,000. We couldn't be prouder. Applause exploded. Someone actually wolf whistled. Lauren fake gasped, hand to heart, then hugged both of them like she hadn't already known for weeks. Cameras flashed, Instagram stories were already loading. I felt the shrimp turn to concrete in my stomach. I'd waited until 2 days ago to ask, quietly, politely, after dinner when Dad was in a good mood, for $8,000. 8. Not even a tenth of what they were dropping on Lauren's Euro trip. There was this filmmaking workshop in Seattle, 3 weeks, hands-on, taught by people who actually shot for Netflix. I'd been accepted, full scholarship, except travel and housing. I'd even made a slide deck, for God's sake. Dad had barely looked up from his phone. Mom had laughed, actually laughed, the little tinkling sound she saves for when the help does something quaint. I waited for the applause to die down, then walked over, clutching the printed acceptance email like it was a winning lottery ticket. "Hey, speaking of investments in the future," I started, trying to keep my voice steady. "I got into this program in Seattle." Mom turned, smile still plastered on. "Riley, not now." "It's only $8,000, 3 weeks. I'd be living in dorms, super cheap." The smile froze. She glanced around to make sure no one important was listening, then leaned in, voice low enough that only Lauren, Dad, and the 3 hedge fund wives nearby could hear. "Riley, we don't invest in hobbies. We invest in winners." She said it like she was reading a stock ticker, flat, final, embarrassed I'd even asked in front of company. Lauren's eyes flicked to me, bright with victory, and she mouthed, "Sorry," but her lips curved like she was anything but. The hedge fund wives pretended they hadn't heard, suddenly very interested in their champagne. Dad just lifted his glass to someone across the lawn and walked away. That was it. No discussion, no "we'll talk later," just public execution in navy silk. I stood there long enough for the sting to settle into something colder. Then I put the shrimp down, wiped my fingers on a napkin embroidered with our monogram, and walked inside. Past the catering staff who wouldn't meet my eyes. Up the back staircase no one uses. Into my bedroom, still painted the pale pink I'd chosen at 12 because Lauren had claimed the blue. I pulled the weekender bag from under the bed, the one I'd bought for college visits I never got to take. Laptop, charger, the camera I'd saved for 2 years to buy. 3 t-shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, the battered Converse I wasn't supposed to wear to events. My passport, just in case, and the Amtrak app already open on my phone. New York Penn Station to Chicago to Seattle. 68 hours. One way. $187. I booked it while sitting on the carpet, back against the bed I'd slept in since I was 6. Departure, 3:55 a.m., technically today. Downstairs, the party kept going. Laughter floated up through the open windows. Someone popped another bottle of Dom. Lauren shrieked as her friends toasted her future in Monaco. I zipped the bag, slung it over my shoulder, and walked out the side gate the landscapers use. The gravel crunched under my shoes like bones. No one saw me leave. By the time the valet realized the Uber Black he was waiting for wasn't coming, I was already on the post road, thumb out for the first car that would take me to the train station in Stamford. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just kept thinking, over and over, like a promise I was carving into myself. They chose their winner. Fine. I'll become the one they never bet on. 4 a.m. at Penn Station. New York City to Seattle, 68 hours on Amtrak. July 13, 2019, 3:47 a.m. Penn Station at 4 in the morning is a giant cave full of sickly fluorescent light and the smell of old urine. I sat on an orange plastic chair, backpack wedged between my feet, clutching a 7-Eleven coffee that had gone cold hours ago. My cracked phone screen showed a bank balance of $1,412.63. The number danced in front of my eyes like it was mocking me. No texts, no missed calls, not a single "Where's Riley?" from Mom, Dad, or Lauren. Even Rosa, the housekeeper, was still asleep. I had vanished from the Greenwich mansion 4 hours earlier, and my old world was still tucked in silk sheets. The departure board flashed. Track 7, Lakeshore Limited to Chicago. Boarding. I stood up, shoulders aching from the bag, and shuffled toward the tired crowd dragging suitcases. An old lady with trash bags full of clothes, a guy in a mariner's hoodie asleep on a luggage cart, 2 college girls giggling because they'd missed their flight. I belonged here more than I ever had at that party. Car 11, seat 28A, upper level. I climbed into the top bunk of a coach seat, not a roomette, because those were sold out months ago. $187 only buys this. I stashed my bag, sat by the pitch-black window, and pulled out my phone. The screen had a long crack from the bottom left corner all the way to the speaker, the time Lauren threw it because I took a bad picture of her. I opened the front camera, turned on the flash, and hit record. Day 0, I said, voice hoarse from no sleep and from refusing to cry on camera. Today is my sister's 21st birthday. My family just gave her $100,000 to go to Monaco and Paris to learn how to be rich. And me? I got gifted a one-way Amtrak ticket to Seattle. This is everything I'm taking. I panned around. Peeling seat fabric, the thin Amtrak blanket, a 50-cent bottle of water from the vending machine. This is my entire net worth right now. $1,400, a backpack, and a broken phone. But at least it's all mine. No one can take it back. I paused, looked straight into the lens. My sister's trip lasts 3 months. Mine lasts 68 hours. We'll see who gets there first. I stopped recording. 47 seconds. I posted it raw to a brand new TikTok. No edits, no music, no long caption, just one line. They paid for her Monaco. I paid for a train ticket. Let's see who wins. Then I turned off the flash, rested my head against the cold window, and passed out as the train rolled out of Manhattan. I woke up somewhere near Albany, sun just coming up over the Hudson. My phone was blowing up. I thought it was my parents finally noticing I was gone. Wrong. The video had 87,000 views in 5 hours. Comments scrolling so fast I had to turn off notifications. Girl, what the hell did your family do? $100K for Monaco? My parents won't even pay for community college. This is the most relatable thing I've seen all year. Drop the ad of your sister. I just want to talk. I smiled for the first time in 24 hours. It actually hurt my face. The train kept rolling. New York, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, every state added another tiny story. I filmed everything. The Vietnam vet in the dining car, the 19-year-old girl running from an arranged marriage, the coder who fell asleep and dropped his laptop in the aisle. No color grading, no filters, just raw cuts on free CapCut between train changes in Chicago. By day 3, as the Empire Builder pulled away from Spokane headed west, day 0 had 2.4 million views. My account went from 0 to 68,000 followers. Strangers were sending money on Venmo, $5, $10, $20, with notes like, buy yourself something better than Amtrak food. I used the $47 strangers gave me to buy a cheeseburger and a Coke in the dining car. It tasted better than any lobster from the night before. The window slid past Oregon pine forests, July snow on the Cascades, and finally the glitter of Elliott Bay as we slowed into King Street Station. 68 hours and 11 minutes. I stepped onto the platform, backpack heavy, hair greasy, eyes bloodshot. One last notification, a text from Aunt Sloan. Platform 3, look for the sign that says Riley Parker in Sharpie. Welcome to the rest of America, kid. I looked up and saw her standing there in an old Patagonia rain jacket, silver hair in a ponytail, holding a hand-lettered sign that was already smudged. I smiled, for real this time. They paid for Monaco. I paid for freedom. And the race had only just started. Seattle and Aunt Sloan. Seattle, Washington, late July 2019. Aunt Sloan didn't hug me. She just tapped the top of my messy hair like she was checking if I was still in one piece and said, get in the car. You smell like you could scare whales. Her 2004 Subaru Outback was forest green, faded, covered in scratches and faded country flag stickers I didn't recognize. The inside smelled of cold coffee, film negatives, and hand-rolled cigarettes. I threw my backpack in the back and slid into the passenger seat full of lenses and old tobacco tins. Only one rule in my house, she said while driving, eyes on the drizzly road. Never call yourself a failure under my roof. Say it once and you're out sleeping with the seals. Got it? I nodded. For the first time in my life, I felt relieved to be threatened. Her house wasn't a house. It was an old houseboat moored on Lake Union, painted dark green with peeling paint, the deck covered in wind chimes made of shells and beer caps. Inside was maybe 400 square feet, packed with a whole life. Ceiling-high bookshelves, Leica, Canon, Hasselblad cameras everywhere, black and white prints hanging on clotheslines, a tiny futon under the window overlooking the water, and a 2-burner camp stove. She pointed at the little futon. Your room, rent-free, in exchange, every Sunday you hand me one short film about Seattle. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to go viral, just has to be real. I'll critique the hell out of it. Take it or leave it. Greyhound stop is 5 minutes that way. I took it before she finished the sentence. First day, I slept 14 hours straight. Woke up to Sloan on the deck, feet dangling in the water, developing film in 3 plastic trays, red, yellow, green. She handed me a mug of black coffee, no sugar. Welcome to the world without a trust fund, she said without looking at me. Go shower, kid. You still smell like Amtrak. I showered in the tiny stall that barely fit one person, hot water cutting in and out. When I came out, there was a clean sheet on the futon and a note in Sharpie. Fridge has eggs and Rainier. First assignment, 1 minute of Seattle rain without complaining. Due Sunday. S. I grabbed my cracked phone, walked out onto the wet deck. Drizzle, gray lake, Mount Rainier peeking through clouds like a smudged painting. I filmed exactly 1 minute. Rain on tin roof, wind chimes, a gull flying past, and finally, my hand catching cold drops. Sunday, I showed her. She watched in silence, nodded once, taped the still to the kitchen wall with clear tape. Underneath, she wrote, Week 1, rain doesn't ask permission. Week 2, an old guy fishing at Gasworks Park who got laid off from Boeing at 63. Week 3, a 19-year-old homeless girl under the ship canal bridge cradling a calico cat. Week 4, Sloan at 3 a.m. in red darkroom light, cursing when a roll jammed. Every Sunday, she nodded, taped it up, added a line. The kitchen wall slowly filled. Week 2, people keep fishing even when they know the water's poisoned. Week 3, home is where your cat lets you stay. Week 4, some pictures only develop in the dark. I stopped checking if my family had texted. My TikTok, Riley Unfiltered, grew quietly. 200K, then 400K followers. Strangers sent Venmo money. I bought a cheap mic and an external drive. Sloan never asked about the past, just occasionally tossed me a roll of Ilford and said, go shoot pike before Amazon eats it all. One August night, I was out on the deck, legs in the freezing water, editing the week's video when Sloan brought out 2 Rainiers. You know why I left home? She asked, the first time she ever volunteered her story. I shook my head. Your mom, my sister, said I was throwing my life away photographing war zones, told me I should marry a doctor, have 2 kids, join the country club. I was 22, same age you are now. I left with 1 backpack too. She clinked her can against mine. She never forgave me, but I forgave myself for choosing to live. Wind chimes rang. I looked through the window at all the little notes on the wall. I'm not the warm fuzzy aunt, she went on. I don't cook, I don't hug, I don't say sweet shit. But I promise you one thing here, you never have to ask permission to be yourself. I took a cold sip. For the first time, the word home didn't feel like a place. It felt like a feeling. What are you shooting this week? She asked. I smiled. You. When you think no one's watching. Sloan snorted, but I saw the corner of her eye glint. Seattle wasn't the destination. It was where I learned how to start over without anyone's permission. From 0 to 1, 2019-2020. I started as a barista at Slate Coffee on Capitol Hill the 3rd week in Seattle. 5 a.m. shifts, $15 per hour plus tips, usually a handful of change and pity smiles. Tiny shop, exposed brick, lo-fi on repeat, customers all tech bros in Allbirds and MacBook stickered, this machine kills fascists. My job? Don't scorch the milk. Memorize 47 versions of oat milk latte. Smile when someone calls me sweetie while ordering a $9 drink. I hated the smell of ground cinnamon at 6 a.m., but I needed money for hard drives and mics. Every shift, I stuffed $30 to $60 in tips into an old coffee jar labeled Fuck You Fund. The rest of the day belonged to Premiere Pro and 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I learned editing at 2 to 3 a.m. on the fold-out table in the houseboat, $20 Sony headphones on a 2015 MacBook Air Sloan lent me. It still works, don't be bougie. YouTube was my university. How to color grade like a pro, free. Keyframing for dummies. Make your shitty footage look cinematic in 7 minutes. First video after day 0, 42 straight days of Seattle rain. Shot from Sloan's deck, just rain sounds and white text. Seattle doesn't believe in summer. I'm starting to relate. 2 million views in 4 days. I sat on the floor staring, eyes stinging, not believing it. Then everything snowballed. Third video, a homeless guy named Leonard at Cal Anderson Park, who used to be a Boeing engineer for 22 years before they replaced him with H-1B visa workers. I gave him the last $20 in my wallet and a black coffee. He said, "People look through me like I'm a window. You looked at me like I'm still a person." That video hit 5 million, blew up on our anti-work and Twitter trending. Followers exploded, 10K, 50K, 200K, 500K in 10 months. Venmo and Cash App went crazy, $50, $100, 5 notes saying, "Buy a real meal. You're speaking for all of us." I bought a mini Godox light, a secondhand Zhiyun gimbal, and for the first time ever had over $4,000 in my account. Slate Coffee became my secret studio. On 15-minute breaks, I ran to the alley for B-roll, street food chefs in smoke clouds, girls on roller skates with huge headphones, a corgi, and a yellow raincoat. I turned them into the series Seattle Unfiltered, 60 Seconds of Real Life. No trendy music, no jumping text, just city sounds and my slow voiceover. November 2019, TikTok sent my first creator fund payment, $1,200. I printed the deposit slip and taped it to the houseboat wall next to Sloane's note. Week 16, money you earn tastes better than money you're given. February 2020, a cold brew brand in Portland DM'd asking for a sponsored post rate. I quoted $800. They said yes in 5 minutes. I stood in Sloane's kitchen and screamed Sloane scattered. Sloane just said, "Good. Now don't let money make you stupid. Keep it raw." I did. The next video I posted right after signing that first brand deal, me on the houseboat floor, counting tip dollars one by one, then looking dead at the camera. Today, someone paid me $800 to drink their coffee on camera. This is the same girl whose parents wouldn't give her $8K for film school. Funny how that works. 12 million views. I cried for the first time since leaving Greenwich. Not from sadness, from relief. By June 2020, the channel Riley Unfiltered officially hit 500K followers. I bought my first Rode mic, a 512-gigabyte memory card, and a one-way flight to Los Angeles for $87. Sloane drove me to SeaTac, hugged me so hard I could smell tobacco and film chemicals on her jacket. "You went from 0 to 1, she said. "Don't stop here." I nodded, eyes red but dry. On the flight, I opened CapCut one last time in Seattle, cut a 30-second video. The houseboat quiet on the lake at dawn, wind chimes, my voice. 1 year ago, I had $1,400 and a train ticket. Today, 500,000 people are watching me figure it out. This isn't the success story yet. This is just proof the story can start. I posted it as the plane took off. My phone buzzed nonstop for the entire 3-hour flight. They paid $100K for Monaco. I paid in blood, sweat, and sleepless nights. And I was just getting started. Jonah and the Turning Point collab. Seattle to Los Angeles, July 2020, October 2020. I ran into Jonah Helligan on a drizzly July afternoon at Slate Coffee during my shift. Tall, lanky, long hair in a bun, faded Carhartt jacket, holding a Sony FX3 I'd only ever drooled over on wish lists. He was staring at the menu like it was quantum physics. "One pour over, no sugar, no milk, no life story," he said in that familiar raspy voice. I looked up and almost dumped the hot water kettle. Jonah Hill, NYU Tisch freshman year, the guy who got expelled for making a documentary about a professor smoking weed on his break? He grinned, eyes squinting. Riley Parker. Greenwich rich kid who dropped out mid-semester to become a Seattle barista? Small world. We'd been ride-or-die partners freshman year. Both dropped out after the school refused to fund our short documentary about homeless people in the Lower East Side. Jonah got expelled for dorm violations, actually secret filming. I left when my parents cut tuition after I refused to switch to business. I made him a free pour-over. He was living in a 1998 van parked in Ballard, shooting weddings on weekends to survive. I told him about TikTok, 500K followers, making 12K the month before. Jonah raised an eyebrow. Your sister's still sipping champagne in Monaco on mom and dad's dime? Yeah, I'm still drinking tap water. Jonah laughed loud, then got serious. Want to make a video together? I shoot, you talk. 50-50. The first video was born in 48 hours. Title: We tried to live like my sister in Monaco for $100. Dumb idea? Perfect idea. 3-day shoot. Day 1. Jonah in a $30 rented Goodwill suit, me and my old prom dress, buying frozen king crab legs and a $9 bottle of wine at the supermarket. Day 2. Breakfast on top of the van in Ballard, view of a parking lot instead of the Monte Carlo harbor. Day 3. Spent the last $11 on a baguette and cheap cheese, sitting on Alki Beach pretending the 59-degree F wind was the Mediterranean sunset. My deadpan voiceover. My sister's breakfast in Monaco costs more than my weekly grocery budget. Today we recreated it on $11.47. Verdict, still happier. Jonah shot slow motion of me biting into a defrosted crab leg, added royalty-free opera. I edited for 18 straight hours on an overheating MacBook. Posted at 3 a.m. Friday. Saturday, 8 a.m., 1 million views. Sunday, 5 million. Tuesday, 8. 2 million and trending global #3. Comments exploded. This is the class warfare we needed. $100 versus $100K, and she still won. The side-eye at 214 took 5 years off my generational trauma. YouTube emailed, first AdSense payment $42,000. Jonah and I sat on Sloan's houseboat floor, splitting $21K each in cash, stacking 2 piles like we were in a heist movie. Never seen this much cash in my life, Jonah said, eyes shining. Same, I answered, and it's ours. The series Two Broke Filmmakers vs. America was born. 1 episode a week. We tried to fly private for $49, Southwest red-eye plus plastic bags over our heads pretending to be Hermes. We stayed at a 5-star hotel for $0, snuck into the Four Seasons Seattle to vlog, got kicked out. We recreated Lauren's Monaco yacht day on a $20 Craigslist kayak. Jonah shot like cinema, I scripted and edited till my eyes blurred. We split everything 50-50. No contracts, just a handshake. In 3 months, the YouTube channel hit 1.2 million subs, averaging 60K, 80K a month. Jonah moved out of the van, rented a tiny studio in Fremont we used as an office. We hung a whiteboard. Rule, never make content that needs daddy's money. One October night, when the Monaco video crossed 10 million, Jonah cracked open Rainier's and clinked mine. You know, he said, back at NYU, I thought you were just another rich kid rebelling. Now I know you're the realest person I've ever met. I smiled for the first time without having to prove anything. They paid $100K for my sister to learn how to be rich. Jonah and I only needed a camera and the truth. And we just turned truth into gold. Eden Cross appears, 2021. The DM came at 2:14 a.m. while I was exporting a 4K file on a MacBook about to combust. Instagram from @EdenCross. Your voice is what brands are terrified of. I'm building something that needs exactly that. Call me when you're awake. E. I thought it was a prank. Eden Cross founded Crosswave Media, agency working with Nike, Glossier, A24, and had just signed an 8-figure deal with Netflix for branded series. 32, black, platinum buzz cut, Fast Company cover, the woman killing traditional advertising. I called anyway, still 2 a.m. in Seattle. Riley Parker, her voice low, fast, no small talk. I've watched every second of your Monaco 100 videos 17 times. Your sarcasm is a weapon, and your authenticity is bulletproof. I want to pay you to aim that weapon at brands who deserve it and protect the ones who don't. She sent a Zoom link for 9 a.m. PST the next day. I flew to LAX that night, $68 ticket bought with Southwest points from the $20 kayak trip. Jonah dropped me at SeaTac and stuffed an extra 50mm f1.4 lens in my bag in case you need to flex. Crossway's office was on the 7th floor of an old brick building on Mateo Street, Arts District. No receptionist, no giant logo, just a steel door and white spray paint. We don't do safe. Eden answered barefoot in a black hoodie that read Disrupt in faded letters, holding a coffee mug the size of my head. Coffee or tequila? Coffee first, tequila after signing. She laughed loud and dragged me into a glass-walled conference room overlooking downtown LA. One slide on the table. Riley Parker, ex-Crosswave Media. Remote Creative Director, Unfiltered Division. First 6 months. $120K per year guaranteed. 10% net revenue on everything you touch. Full medical plus 401K. Yes, we have that. Option for full-time plus equity after 6 months. 0 client creative approval until you say okay. I stared at $120K and felt my heart trying to punch through my ribs. This isn't charity, Eden said, sliding the contract over. I need someone the audience trusts more than the brand, someone Gen Z would die defending. That's you. I'm just paying you to keep doing for money what you were doing for free. I signed on the spot with a black Crosswave pen. No lawyer, no negotiation, just a handshake. 3 days later, I flew back to Seattle, packed, said goodbye to Sloan on the houseboat deck. LA will try to eat you, she said, handing me one last roll of Portra 400. Don't let it chew off your edges. I moved to LA February 1, 2021, rented a 450-square-foot studio in the Arts District for $1,950 a month. Exposed brick, concrete floor, huge window overlooking train tracks. I painted one wall black and wrote in white, still not daddy's money. First week at Crosswave was an earthquake. Eden threw me into 3 campaigns at once. Nike, series about female runners forced by family to quit for marriage. Glossier, real skin, real money, real story, with girls who saved 2 years for one lipstick. A24, teaser for an indie about a girl disinherited for choosing art. I did them all Riley-styled. No filters, no ring light, no professional actors, just real people, natural light, stories that hurt. Nike campaign dropped in March. Main video I shot and edited myself. A 24-year-old woman running a marathon in beat-up Jordans. Voiceover. My dad said running won't pay the bills. Today, I crossed the finish line he never believed existed. 24 hours, 47 million views cross-platform. Glossier sales up 380% first week. A24 premiere tickets sold out in 11 minutes. First month, I got a $10K check plus $18K revenue bonus. I posted a story of the check. First paycheck that doesn't smell like espresso grounds. Eden called it midnight. Welcome to the weaponized authenticity business, Parker. Now let's make them scared for real. Jonah flew down end of that month, crashed on my couch. We turned the studio into a war room. 3 monitors, Godox lights, whiteboard covered in ideas. First real night in LA, I stood on the balcony watching trains go by, texted Sloan a skyline photo. She replied one line. Don't forget, they're paying you to be you. The day they want someone else, run. I saved it as my phone wallpaper. They once paid $100K for my sister to learn how to spend money. Now people pay me $120K plus revenue share to teach the world how to never need theirs again. And I was just starting to use my real voice. 2022, the family comes crawling back. Los Angeles to Greenwich, March to October 2022. Early 2022, Riley Unfiltered officially hit 3 million YouTube subs and 5 million on TikTok. Personal revenue for 2021 closed at $412,000 after taxes. I was 25 and for the first time had 6 figures in savings without checking the menu price first. That was also when my family suddenly remembered they had a second daughter. First message from Lauren on a Tuesday morning while I was in a Crosswave meeting. At laurenparker.co. Verified, 890K followers. Hey sis, been so busy with brand trips. Saw your Nike thing. It's cute. Maybe we can collab? I'm launching a luxury lifestyle capsule soon. Could use your aesthetic. LMKXOX. Attached, her on a yacht in Dubai, champagne, #Monaco vibes still. I screenshotted and sent to Jonah. He replied with the crying laughing emoji. I didn't answer. A week later, Dad messaged me on LinkedIn, the platform he hadn't touched since 2017. Charles Parker, Managing Director, Parker & Associates Real Estate. Riley, your mother and I are incredibly proud of what you've built. The family would love to catch up. Perhaps you could spare some time to advise Lauren on her influencer strategy? She has tremendous potential. Dinner in Greenwich when you're on the East Coast? Dad? I read it, laughed once, and blocked him. They didn't stop. May. Mom made a new Instagram, Linda_Parker_official, profile pic with Lauren at Paris Fashion Week 2020. Follow request declined. June. Company email from the old address. Subject, family update and opportunity. Darling, the market has been challenging. Interest rates. We've had to let go of 3 assistants. Lauren's brand is struggling to monetize. Perhaps a small investment from your side could give her the push she needs? We remain so proud. Love, Mom. I forwarded it to Eden with the note, Exhibit A, why I don't do family reunions. Eden replied, LMA, frame it. August, Lauren posted an IG story, her sitting in a rented WeHo apartment. I recognized the listing. Caption, sometimes the people closest to you don't support your dreams, but God sees everything. #growth. Comments instantly. Is this about your sister? The 100K Monaco shade is crazy. I posted one story. My desk with 3 monitors, coffee mug, white text. Too busy building my own empire to notice subtweets. Carry on. 4.2 million views in 12 hours. Peak was October when Forbes ran 101 people reshaping media, and I was #37. The article included, Parker famously went from cut-off heiress to self-made filmmaker after her parents funded her sister's 100K luxury brand program in Monaco instead of her education. Article dropped Thursday. Friday, Dad called from a random number. I picked up thinking it was Eden. Riley, his voice hoarse, probably whiskey. We need to talk like adults. The company is in real trouble, real estate freeze. We might have to sell properties to survive. But if you could help with even a small amount just to preserve the family brand. I cut him off. Dad, the family brand traded me for 100K 3 years ago. Inventory's gone. I hung up. 30 seconds later, text from Lauren. Really mature, Riley. Some of us are trying to keep the family together. I blocked that number too. That night, Jonah brought beer to the Arts District rooftop. We watched LA lights flicker. What do they want? He asked. Money, I said, and a photo op with the caption, Proud Family. Jonah smirked. Classic vulture behavior. I opened my phone, went to blocked contacts. Mom, Dad, Lauren, Aunt Danielle, Aunt Susan, even Grandma for commenting, when are you coming home, under a video. I screenshotted the list, posted a black and white story, no caption. 1.8 million people saw it before I fell asleep. Next morning, Eden sent a page 6 link. Parker heiress drama. Family of TikTok star Riley Parker allegedly asks for financial help after years of silence. Comments? The audacity, not the prodigal daughter tax. She said no energy for energy vampires and left. I didn't read them all. I closed notifications, opened Final Cut Pro, and started editing a new Reformation campaign, girls paying for their own vacations for the first time. They paid 100K for Lauren to learn how to spend lavishly. Now they came begging for money from the daughter they called a hobby. I had nothing left to give, except a mirror, and that mirror was getting expensive. Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit, New York City, November 12, 2023. I walked on stage at the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit in beat-up black Converse under a $79 Zara midi dress. No stylist, no PR wardrobe. Behind me on the giant LED, Riley Parker, 26, founder, Unfiltered Media, 2023 revenue estimate, $4.7 million. Cipriani Wall Street was packed, 1,200 people under 30 who'd rewritten their own rules. I grabbed the mic, took a breath, and started. 5 years ago, I sat on the floor of a train with $1,400 and a broken phone. My parents had just given my sister $100,000 to learn how to be rich in Monaco. They told me $8,000 for film school was investing in a hobby, so I invested in a one-way Amtrak ticket instead. The room laughed, the laugh of people who'd heard the exact same line from their own parents. Tonight, I'm not here to tell you to hustle harder or wake up at 4 a.m. I'm here to tell you some doors were never meant for you because you're supposed to build your own damn building. Applause exploded. I raised a hand for quiet. That's why I'm announcing the Self-Made Film Fund. Starting January 2024, we're giving away $250,000 a year, full ride grants, gear, mentorship, no strings, to students whose families cut them off for choosing art over a real career. Because no one should have to choose between their dream and their address. The room lost it. Standing ovation, screaming, whistles, people crying. I stood there feeling, for the first time, like I wasn't the girl abandoned at Penn Station anymore. Then I delivered the last line, slow, clear, straight into the live stream camera, reaching 3 million people. This fund is for every kid who was told they're not the winner in their own family. Turns out the scoreboard was rigged. We just built a new one. Applause lasted almost 2 minutes. I bowed and walked off. Only then did the MC whisper, your family is here? Table 3, VIP. I turned. Table 3, right by the stage. Mom in pearl Oscar de la Renta, diamond bracelet I remembered cost $42K. Dad in bespoke suit, face ghost white, gripping his glass. Lauren in silver sequins, lips tight, eyes red, crying or furious, didn't care. They'd pulled strings, Mom's specialty, donations to Forbes funds since the Obama days. They thought I wouldn't dare with the world watching. They were wrong. I walked straight to their table, still holding the wireless mic. Tiny feedback squeal as I stopped in front of Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Lauren. I smiled, Greenwich sweet. Didn't expect to see you here. Did you pay for the table with the same card that funded Monaco? Mom stammered, Riley, we can talk privately. No need, I cut in, loud enough for the whole room to hear. You wanted public? This is perfect. I turned to the audience, mic up like I was interviewing myself. Let me translate for everyone watching at home. My family flew in tonight hoping I'd finally come to my senses and bail out their sinking real estate empire. Spoiler, I'm not. Laughter rippled. Someone at the next table yelled, period. I looked Lauren dead in the eye. You got $100K to learn how to take selfies on yachts. I got cut off. Guess whose brand is worth more now? Lauren stood, tears shining. This is embarrassing, Riley. No, sis, I said, soft as wind. Embarrassing is begging your daughter for money on the night she celebrated for never needing yours. I turned, walked off stage. Applause followed me like a wave, louder, longer, the whole room on my side. Backstage, Eden was waiting, arms crossed, grinning ear to ear. That was the most expensive unpaid therapy session in history. I laughed, finally light. They paid $100K for a trip to Monaco. I just gave freedom to thousands of kids with one sentence. And this time, the whole world heard it. Lauren's wedding in the Hamptons and the final mic drop. The Hamptons, June 21, 2024. The invitation arrived in thick cotton paper, gold foil lettering. Lauren Elizabeth Parker and Daniel Whitmore III request the honor of your presence. Handwritten in black ink by Lauren. Riley, it would mean the world if you could gift the highlight reel. We'd love your eye. All is forgiven. Love, L. Translation, we're broke for wedding videography. Please work for free, sis. I RSVP'd attending +0 in 3 seconds. Wedding day, I flew LAX to JFK, rented a car service out to East Hampton, wore a simple long black silk dress from the row, $1,200 paid from last month's Nike money. No flowers, no clutch, no fake smile. Just Jonah in the passenger seat filming backup with a Blackmagic Pocket 6K hidden in a tote. The Ocean Blue Resort was an $800K fairy tale. 300 guests, flowers flown in from Holland, glass dance floor over an infinity pool, drones, live band from LA, 7-course menu with A5 Wagyu and caviar bumps. I stood at the very back, half hidden behind a column of white roses, watching Lauren in her 68K Monique Louier walk down the aisle with Dad to an orchestral 1,000 years. She looked perfect, like the whole world had been built just for her Instagram. Reception started, ruin art flowing like tap water. I turned down every relative trying for a photo. Cousin Danielle, Aunt Susan, Grandma, all of them, just for fun. I just nodded, sipped water, waited. Then came family and friends toasts. The MC, an influencer friend of Lauren's, beamed. And now, a very special toast from Lauren's sister, Riley Parker. Dead silence across the pool. I walked up onto the glass floor, black dress floating in the ocean wind, took the wireless mic. 300 phones rose. Jonah had his angle from the shadows. I looked straight at Lauren, lips pressed tight, eyes glittering with nerves and fear. I spoke one sentence, slow, clear, loud enough for the drones overhead to catch. To Lauren, I hope your marriage is the one thing in life you never have to ask someone else to pay for. I set the mic on the champagne table, clink like a gunshot. 8 seconds flat. Then I turned, walked straight out the main gate, heels clicking on wood. Jonah followed without a word. Behind me, Lauren screaming, "Riley!" Mom sobbing. Dad yelling something drowned out by the DJ switching tracks. 300 guests filming me leave. The Range Rover was waiting. I climbed in, shut the door, kicked off my heels, exhaled. Jonah burst out laughing. 8 seconds, career best mic drop. The clip leaked on X 11 minutes later. Someone's iPhone 15 Pro, cinema quality. 24 hours, 40 million views. 48 hours, global trending #1. Top comment, she said the quiet part out loud and left in 4K. Lauren unfollowed me, 4th time. Mom left 47 voicemail messages. I never listened. Dad emailed from the company account, damage control needed, marked as spam. That night on the flight home, I posted one story. A full champagne glass still on the wedding table, white text. I was only there for 8 seconds. Some prices can't be paid in installments. 40 million people knew exactly what I meant. They paid $800K for a perfect wedding. I paid 8 seconds and stole their spotlight for life. Game over. 2024. Riley Now. Los Angeles, Greenwich, Seattle, October 2024. I'm 27, and for the first time in my life, I don't check prices before I order anything. Crosswave Studio, new name after I bought Eden's 51% in January, just closed fiscal 2024 with $14.2 million revenue. 3 offices. HQ in a glass-walled 5th floor in LA's Arts District overlooking the LA River. Seattle branch in a Georgetown warehouse Jonna and I painted black ourselves. And newest, my childhood home in Greenwich, now Crosswave East, small brass sign at the gate. Self-made starts here. I bought the house back in March for $11.8 million. Cash, no mortgage, no asking parents. The broker thought I was joking when I said, "Send the contract, I'll sign today." Closing day, I stood in the marble foyer where Lauren's party once raged and told the lawyer one thing: change every lock, all of them. My parents had already downsized to a condo in Palm Beach. They never called when I bought it. I didn't invite them. The house no longer has Louis XIV furniture or fake Picassos. Ground floor is a full-frame studio, soundproof walls, ARRI lights, red Komodo 8K rigs. Second floor edit suites and dorm rooms for grant recipients to live free for 3 to 6 months. Third floor is my office. I kept the huge window facing Long Island Sound, but swapped silk curtains for black roller shades and a $200 IKEA pine table. On the wall, a giant chalkboard. Not handed, earned, every single day. The Self-Made Film Fund has supported 47 young people so far, 47 stories like mine. Tuition cut, kicked out, told art won't put food on the table. We pay tuition, buy cameras, cover rent, even therapy if needed. No repayment, no interest. One line in the contract: when you're good, pay it forward. Every month, I fly to Greenwich for a week to teach free workshops for high school kids from Bridgeport and Norwalk Public Housing. We shoot shorts on iPhones, edit on old laptops, and screen them on the same wall that once held fake family portraits. A 16-year-old cried the first time she saw her name in opening credits. I hugged her and thought, this is the sweetest revenge. Jonah is now official creative director and my boyfriend, though we never announced it. We still split money 50-50 like day one, only now with a few extra zeros. He's fully moved to LA, sleeps at the studio 5 nights a week, and my apartment now has an extra closet full of Cook lenses and his dirty hoodies. We don't post couple photos. Everyone at Crosswave knows Jonah is the only person allowed to yell "cut" when I'm rolling. Eden kept 49%, still mentors me, still calls at 2 a.m. with insane ideas. She laughs and says, I created a monster. One October morning in Greenwich, I was on the floor of my old bedroom, now an edit bay, watching raw footage from a grant recipient about her single mom working 3 jobs. Jonah brought coffee, sat beside me. Ever think you'd come back here? He asked. No, I said, eyes still on the screen. But now I did, just on my terms. I took him to the backyard, once the lawn for Lauren's parties, now an outdoor stage with portable green screen and a small sign. Future filmmakers welcome. No trust fund required. That afternoon, I checked the old mailbox, still engraved Parker. Inside, one plain white envelope, no return address. Inside, a photo of me at 9. Ponytail, oversized Gap t-shirt, holding a pink plastic DV camcorder, grinning by the pool. On the back, Mom's handwriting, shaky. Riley. I kept this photo in my wallet for years and never knew why. Now I do. I was wrong about everything. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to have it back. Love always, Mom. I held it a long time, then pinned it to the biggest mood board in the studio, right in the center of hundreds of photos of the 47 kids we've helped. Jonah stood behind me, arms around my waist. You okay? Yeah, this isn't their house anymore. It's ours, those kids, anyone who was ever told they weren't enough. I turned and kissed him in the house that once threw me out. They paid $100K to teach Lauren how to be rich. I give back $250K every year to teach the world how to become rich on their own terms, using my story. And in 2024, I didn't just win, I changed the rules. The Last Postcard, Los Angeles, June 2025. The postcard arrived on a blazing noon when LA asphalt felt like it could melt. No envelope, no priority stamp, just a thick card. Front, Greenwich Country Day School Playground, 2007, golden sunlight. Back, me, at 8, pigtails, oversized Gap tee, clutching a blue and red Fisher-Price toy camcorder, missing front tooth grin. Under the photo, Mom's handwriting, steady this time. Riley, I was wrong. I see it now. I don't ask for anything. I just wanted you to have this picture back. Love, Mom. I stood in the 7th floor Crosswave LA office, ceiling fan spinning, Jonah testing audio next door. No pain, no anger, just a strange empty space, like closing a book you finished years ago. I walked to the hallway and pinned the photo to the biggest wall in the studio, the one now covered in hundreds of Polaroids and prints from the 67 young people we funded since 2024. My 8-year-old self right in the middle, next to a 17-year-old from Detroit who just finished her first short. Next to a 19-year-old from Oakland, now a USC freshman on our dime. Next to dozens of other smiles once told they had no future. Jonah appeared in the doorway holding 2 cold brews. Mail call? From who? Mom, I said evenly. First time, no money ask. He smiled, said nothing, just set the coffee down and wrapped his arms around me from behind. Ready for the next shoot? He whispered. Always. We went up to the rooftop, the spot I stand whenever I need to remember how far I've come. Today's LA sunset was unreal. Orange, pink, purple, gold from downtown to the Pacific. Hot wind carried taco truck smoke and distant car horns. Jonah had the red Komodo already on the tripod, framed on me and the city behind. This wasn't for a client. This was the final video of the 5 Years Later series. I'd promised it on the exact 5-year anniversary of leaving Penn Station. I stepped in front of the lens. No script, no teleprompter, just the city and me. Jonah counted down. 3, 2, 1, rolling. I looked straight in, smiled, the realest smile I've had in 5 years. They paid $100K for her to learn how to be rich. I paid with silence. With 68 hours on a train seat that smelled like bleach and broken dreams, with sleepless nights editing on a cracked screen, with every door slammed in my face, every "you're not worth investing in," every tear I refused to let them see. I paid with the version of me they threw away. And in return, I learned how to be free. 5 years later, the score is settled. My sister got Monaco. I got a life that doesn't need their permission. I got a company with my name on the door. I got 67 kids who will never have to sit on a train with $1,400 and a broken heart because someone decided they weren't the winner. I didn't just win, I changed the game. And the best part? I'm still playing. I paused. Let the wind blow. Let the city speak. This isn't a revenge story. This is a story about taking back what was always yours, one frame, $1, one breath at a time. If you're watching and someone once told you you're not enough, hear me now. They were wrong, and your story hasn't ended. It's just beginning. See you on the next frame. I signaled cut. Jonah killed the camera, walked over, kissed the top of my head. Perfect take, he said. I turned and looked out at LA sprawling beneath us, the city that took me in when I had nothing but a backpack and a promise to myself. They once paid $100K to teach Lauren how to be rich. I paid with my entire life to learn how to own it. And now, every morning I wake up, I still choose to pay that price. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Because freedom isn't something you're given, it's something you earn, frame by frame, dollar by dollar, truth by truth. And I've never been richer. Final drone shot rises, leaving me small against the giant city, but for the first time, not alone. Last voiceover, soft as the wind. Not handed. Earned. Black screen. Credits roll.